They say the earth remembers every secret whispered into the wind, holding memories of glory long after voices fade into the void. Beneath the veil of centuries, empires have crumbled to dust, leaving only echoes trapped in cold stone. Listen to the crushing silence. Can you hear the heartbeat of a world before names were carved into maps? Nature reclaims its throne with terrifying beauty, swallowing the vanity of kings and the dreams of conquerors in a relentless embrace. To wander here is to enter a living myth, where the air feels heavy with the souls of 1,000 years. Something ancient watches from the mist, a presence that demands to be felt deep within the marrow. This is not merely a journey, but a pilgrimage into the eternal, melancholic soul of the past. These jagged peaks rise from dark waters, like the spine of a primordial beast, defying the North Sea's fury. Legends speak of sea trolls in shadowed fjords, dragging ships to the depths during endless winter nights. Their roars echo against cold granite, a warning to any who challenge the domain of the gods. The ferocious maelstrom spins its deadly web, a hungry mouth swallowing fortunes and lives without mercy. Viking chieftains launched longships here, guided by stars and the bloodthirsty favor of Odin. The Draugr, spirits of drowned mariners, still sail these freezing currents to pull the living into the abyss. Here, the boundary between the world of men and ancient myth dissolves into the eternal mist. This rugged land rises from the sea, a sleeping giant cloaked in ancient mystery. For centuries, clans MacLeod and MacDonald stained these hills with crimson, warring for dominion. Whispers claim the tormented souls of betrayed chieftains still wander, their vengeance refusing to fade. Raw beauty masks a history written in cold steel and dark sorcery. Tales speak of a weeping fairy princess who gifted a magical flag to save her human lord's kin. Beneath silent waters, invisible portals to the otherworld drift open, inviting the unwary to vanish forever. Here, the veil between the living and the spirits dissolves. These black mountains embrace the sea like a fortress of giants, guarding secrets older than memory. Long ago, corsairs found sanctuary here, trading souls for gold amidst the clinging fog. Locals swear the wind carries the screams of sailors, dragged to the abyss by the weight of their greed. Granite ramparts climb toward the heavens, a prayer meant to hold back the darkness lurking below. They say a captain buried his plunder here, only to find it turned to dust by the sorceress he scorned. Now, only silence watches over the drowned city of dreams. In this theater of stone and salt, beauty and terror dance an eternal waltz. Beneath the bruising northern sky, rocks rise like a giant's spine, defying the endless ocean. The hidden people claimed these dark basalt walls long ago, making homes where no mortal dares tread. Beware the mist. If you stare too long into the fog, the gray people will stare back and steal your memories. Sagas recount the Seal Woman, who cursed islanders to fall from the precipice until enough blood spilled to encircle the lands. Here, the boundary between the living and the mythic dissolves. The silence is heavy, burdened by ancient secrets and souls claimed by the deep. Beneath the heavy skies of Flanders, this city sleeps in a stone cradle, defying the frantic march of time. Seven centuries ago, these waters were the arteries of the world, until the sea turned its back and left the harbor to choke on silt. Spirits of executed rebels are said to haunt the canals, cursed by a vengeful emperor to guard the waterways for eternity. Knights returned from the Crusades clutching a vial of crimson hope, a relic that pulses with divine mystery behind ancient walls. Every stone here has soaked up the tears of forgotten merchants and the laughter of doomed lovers. The wind does not blow. It sighs with the weight of 1,000 years of solitude. These dark waters mirror a history older than Rome, where mountains guard white gold with jealous silence. 7,000 years ago, men carved the Earth's black heart to extract the salt that preserved empires. It is said the lake reflects only the weary faces of ancient miners lost to the briny deep. Legend tells of a man found encased in salt, untouched by time, a witness to the ambition that drove his masters deeper. Even the dead found no rest. Their bones were lifted and painted with flowers, a macabre dance of memory. The wind still sighs, wondering if we remain slaves to the treasures beneath our feet. Beneath the relentless sun, this city rises as a monument to imperial ambition. Long before the stone giants, a Moorish fortress guarded these hills, foundations soaked in ancient blood. Legends claim the fire that devoured the royal Alcázar was no accident, but the breath of a lingering curse. Galleons laden with New World gold poured riches here. Yet every coin carried the toll of distant souls. Behind velvet curtains, treason was silenced by poisoned chalices as power shifted like sand. Now the avenues merely echo the phantom footsteps of kings who believed they were gods. Beneath these primordially deep waters lies a history older than human memory itself. Legends speak of a dragon coiling within the depths, demanding maidens until a hero's blade turned the currents crimson. Yet the beast never truly died, waking only when gale winds howl to reclaim the shore from encroaching cities. 365 sanctuaries once stood here, praying for salvation against the march of conquering legions. Tsars built fortresses to touch the clouds, believing stone would outlast mountains, only to crumble while the lake remains. Listen to the waves, for they are the liquid echoes of forgotten prayers and the defiant breath of the immortal dragon. This land was forged in the violent embrace of fire and ice, where the earth breathes with a terrifying, rhythmic pulse. Ancient sagas speak of Surtur, the fire giant guarding Muspelheim with a sword brighter than the sun. The trembling ground is merely the shudder of sleeping gods waiting for the final battle. Prophecies foretell Ragnarok, where the sky turns black and the world must burn to be born anew. Monuments of primordial fury stand silent, mocking our fleeting existence. Here, the fragile boundary between creation and destruction dissolves into mist. A testament to the untamed forces that shaped the very dawn of time. This city stands as a labyrinth where history sleeps beneath the ripples. Centuries ago, dark canals served as silent highways for smugglers hiding illicit wealth from the crown. Yet fortunes were lost to treacherous lovers who traded burning secrets for cold silver. When fog descends, listen for the gasps of the betrayed, pushed into the icy embrace. Ancient spirits guard sunken hoards, drowning any greedy soul foolish enough to disturb the depths. Beware the dark reflection, for the water never forgets a debt owed to the dead. Here, time flows like the tide, washing over sins forever anchored in silence. Beneath the Alps, the air weighs heavy with forgotten crowns. A solitary king sought a paradise of stone here, retreating into a twilight of operas and swans. dark waters guard the secret of his final breath, turning history into a ghost story. These woodlands have swallowed armies and hidden empires that thought themselves immortal. Tales speak of winged shadows, restless knights who pledged oaths to dust. The wind carries the voices of those who traded sanity for a glimpse of the divine. Reality blurs into myth, proving the dreams of the mad endure longer than the logic of the sane. Deep beneath these limestone foundations, a ravenous beast once slumbered, waiting to devour the innocent. The air here still carries the scent of sulfur and the ghostly echo of a roar that shook the earth. These ancient walls stand as witnesses to a time when fear ruled the valley. It was no knight who saved the city, but a clever shoemaker who fed the monster a sulfur-laced lamb. Driven by unquenchable fire, the dragon drank the river dry until he burst into fragments of myth. Today, the wind reminds us that even the most terrifying monsters must eventually bow before the relentless march of centuries. Beneath the vast Anatolian sky lies a surreal kingdom born of ancient fire and sculpted by the patient fingers of the wind. Eons ago, 3 great volcanoes unleashed their fury, burying the earth in ash that hardened into a sanctuary for the desperate. Deep beneath the surface, thousands of trembling souls carved entire cities into the soft rock, fleeing the shadows of relentless empires. Legends speak of holy men who turned these hollowed stones into cathedrals of silence, painting their devotion upon walls hidden from the sun. The resilience of the human spirit echoes in every cavernous hall, defying the erosion of time. Even now, the breeze carries the hushed psalms of those who sought refuge in the cold embrace of the earth. The air here remains thick with the perfume of a vanished aristocracy and the crushing weight of 600 years of rule. It is said that when the wind howls, phantom waltzes swirl over the graves of the Habsburg dynasty. The restless spirit of Empress Elizabeth haunts this place, a melancholy beauty who fled the suffocation of court intrigue. Her life ended not in silk, but by the cold steel of an anarchist's file piercing her heart, a brutal punctuation to an age of excess. These palaces stand as an elegy to hollow splendor, witnessing the decay of a power that believed itself eternal. Only the shadows remember the true price of the crown. Behold a city woven from stone and shadow, where the sky touches the deep waters of history. The Counts of Flanders raised a fortress of nightmares here, bringing back cruel secrets from the Crusades. Yet the city's heart beats within the mystic lamp, a masterpiece stolen by conquerors and hidden in salt mines. One panel remains lost in the void, a phantom limb that clairvoyants have sought in vain for decades. Ancient spires pierce the fog like silent guardians over a world that has forgotten how to pray. In Ghent, the past does not die. It merely waits behind a velvet curtain for the lights to dim. Here the green earth ends abruptly, slicing through the mist to meet the churning Atlantic in a display of raw, terrifying power. Ancient tales speak of Mao, a sorceress consumed by unrequited love, who chased a hero across this rugged coast until her footing finally failed her. Her stone profile remains etched into the headland, forever gazing out at the ocean that swallowed her final breath. Beneath the frothing white water lies the lost kingdom of Kilstiffen, submerged centuries ago by a chieftain who lost the key to its golden gates. Legend warns that to see the city rise from the waves is a dire omen, promising death before the sun sets. The wind here screams with the voices of the lost, a relentless chorus of salt and sorrow. The fractured coast of the north holds a beauty that is both cold and eternal, where the sea embraces thousands of silent islands. Centuries ago, these dark waters churned under the wooden keels of dragon ships, carrying warriors who sought paradise through the edge of steel. When the heavy fog descends, the rhythmic splash of phantom oars can still be heard, rowing endlessly against the tide of time. It was here that berserkers once howled, shedding their humanity to become wolves, their spirits now adrift in a rage that has no target. The stillness of the Baltic mirrors the tragic emptiness of a glory that has long since turned to dust. They remain trapped in the twilight, navigating a labyrinth of stone and water where the past refuses to die. The Balkans meet the Ionian Sea in a clash of stone and salt, hiding a dark memory. These inlets were once the secret kingdoms of Ottoman corsairs, ruthless men ruling by scimitar and gunpowder. Here they swore the sacred Bessa, a blood oath binding their souls for eternity. But gold shatters honor. A grand betrayal turned the tide red, making a slaughterhouse of their haven. The coast remains breathtakingly silent, masking the screams of the past. Fishermen speak of a curse, of spirits waiting to drag dreamers into the deep. The sea does not merely wash the land. It recites an endless litany of vengeance. Scattered across the expanse, these isolated realms stand as silent sentinels of a forgotten age. It is said Odysseus languished here, bound for 7 years by a nymph's sweet smoke and broken promises. Beneath the waves, sailors rest eternally, lured to doom by songs too beautiful for mortal ears. The wind carves limestone into gods, watching a sea that gives life as easily as it takes it. Even the Argonauts fled these channels, their golden prize shimmering while fugitives sought the shadows. Time dissolves into the tides, erasing the line between the living and the ghosts. In this labyrinth of stone, humanity is but a fleeting guest. Upon a crag of ancient volcanic fire stands a city that held its breath while death walked the streets. Centuries ago, beneath heavy cobbles, a second city was carved into darkness, where the afflicted were sealed away to perish alone. Damp walls still weep for souls abandoned in the merciless grip of the great pestilence. History is etched not in gold, but in the cold, unyielding scars of survival against the night. Legends say when fog rolls in from the sea, the wails of the betrayed echo endlessly through the closes. This stone labyrinth remains a solemn witness to the shadows we cast, preserving the spirits of a dark past. Far beyond the petty intrigues of men, these frozen cathedrals rise to touch the face of the infinite. Here, a commander once drove elephants through the ice, defying the winds to bring war to Rome. Beneath the snow, glaciers keep the preserved dead who underestimated the mountain's wrath, locked in cold slumber. They speak of a bridge spanning the void, built by the devil for the price of the first soul to cross. A terrifying beauty dwells in this thin air, where silence screams louder than any voice. High above, ancient dragons are said to sleep, guarding their secrets from the prying eyes of mortals. Far from the Seine, mountains crash violently into the sapphire embrace of the Tyrrhenian Sea. It is written that Hercules loved the nymph Amalfi, and when she perished, he buried her here to ensure her grave was the most beautiful place on earth. Every jagged rock is a testament to a grief so powerful, it reshaped the continent. This was once a fierce maritime republic, a naval titan that commanded the respect of empires. Near the Legali Islands, the spirits of the sirens still linger, singing their fatal melody to wandering sailors. Beauty here is a dangerous mask, concealing ancient wrecks and the drowning depths of history. Beneath gray skies, the heartbeat of an eternal empire still echoes through the fog. Legend warns that should the 6 black guardians leave the fortress, the kingdom shall crumble to dust. Upon the wind, hear the weeping of queens who lost their heads to a tyrant king long ago. A great inferno once swept these streets, devouring stone until the river itself seemed to boil. Yet from the ashes, a spirit of iron emerged, refusing to bow to death or plague. When mist descends, shadows recall the phantom who stalked the cobbles in the dark. Deep beneath the waters, ancient bones sleep, guarding secrets time has forgotten. In the embrace of the cold northern sea, Copenhagen rises like a fortress of dreams. Warrior bishops fortified these shores against savage pirates, turning a humble village into a merchant stronghold. The wind carries phantom echoes of a sea daughter who traded her voice for love, a sacrifice haunting the harbor. Great fires consumed the city twice, yet it always emerged from the ashes with a stronger heart. Time flows slowly, preserving the glory of monarchs who ruled vast northern realms. Here, reality and fairy tale dance together in the twilight. Where the river meets the ocean stands a city carved from granite, steeped in the salt of ancient tears. Centuries ago, this was Portus Cale, the cradle that gave a nation its name and destiny. Legend says the people surrendered their meat to sailors departing for the unknown, keeping only scraps in a sacred pact. It is a realm of unconquered souls, where fog rolls in like the breath of dragons guarding the valley. A prince born within these walls dreamed of worlds beyond the horizon, launching ships into the abyss. The wind carries echoes of merchants bargaining with fate. Time flows here like the wine sleeping in dark cellars, growing richer with every age. A city born from fear, where marble palaces float upon reflection and memory. Long ago, fleeing barbarians, desperate souls drove wooden stakes into the mud to build a sanctuary that would defy the tides. Beneath the masquerade, the canals hide dark whispers of the plague doctors who once walked these paths. It is a labyrinth of stone, a testament to will standing against the power of nature. Prisoners crossing the high bridge caught one last glimpse of the sky before vanishing into the dungeons. The Council of Ten watched all, ensuring betrayal was met with swift, silent drowning in the lagoon. Now only the water remains as the eternal witness, slowly reclaiming the glory of the past. Beneath the southern sun, the air bears the heavy weight of 1,000 years. Roman legions marched here, building arenas where the crowd's roar drowned the fallen. The wind is said to carry the restless spirits of warriors who died defending these fortresses. Here, exiled popes raised palaces to hide divine secrets from royal assassins. The silence is not empty. It is woven from echoes of battles for faith and gold. Myths even tell of a river dragon, defeated only by the purity of a saint. Now, the stones keep their counsel, enduring the ravages of time. Amidst the mountains rests a lake of silence, holding eternity in its depths. Legend speaks of a widow who cast a massive silver bell for her murdered husband. Yet a sudden tempest dragged the boat and its crew to the bottom. Even now, the spirits of the drowned are said to ring that sunken iron, a mournful toll audible only in the dead of night. High above, the fortress clings to the cliff, having survived 1,000 years of invaders and shifting empires. Here, ancient Slavic deities were once worshipped before time drove the old magic into the shadows. The wind whispers that nothing is ever truly forgotten, only waiting beneath the dark water. The ancient chill of the Carpathians seeps deep into the soul. In the land beyond the forest, 7 fortresses once stood as the shield of the realm. Yet it is whispered that these walls were raised not merely by stone, but by dark pacts and blood sacrifice. Legends tell of a dragon prince who planted forests of stakes, striking terror into the hearts of Eastern sultans. His name has faded to myth, yet the fear he forged still rides the howling wind. Vanity led kings to believe their glory was eternal. But time is a ravenous beast that devours all, leaving only the hollow echo of vanished footsteps. The river cleaves the earth, separating 2 souls forever gazing across the water. Legend tells of a sculptor who drowned himself when a boy mocked his tongueless lions. Ancient steam carries secrets of pashas who sought solace in these thermal springs. 7 times invaders clashed, turning the waters red with the blood of empires. A Gothic phantom rises, a testament to a golden age lost to history. Deep below, a cruel prince was imprisoned, left to madness in the crushing dark. Time washes away sorrow, leaving the eternal majesty of this pearl. These hills seem sculpted by a divine artist dreaming of paradise on earth. It was here a pontiff sought to raise a perfect city, a utopia defying medieval chaos. Silent sentinels guard a path forged in gold and blood. A merchant family became kings without crowns, weaving a web that ensnared all of Europe. Behind marble facades, daggers gleamed as rivals conspired to slay the dynasty during High Mass. Yet from this cauldron of ambition emerged beauty profound enough to pull humanity out of the Dark Ages. The spirits of geniuses and tyrants still linger, their whispers carried by the eternal wind. High above stands a fortress never conquered by force, a silent giant guarding the river. Powerful archbishops forged the northern Rome here, fueled by white gold mined from the earth. Deep salt caverns still hold the echoes of miners who toiled in darkness to build this splendor. They say defenders once painted a single bull, a different color each day, tricking besiegers into fearing endless food. Here, a young prodigy composed melodies that would eventually outlast the stone walls themselves. Listen to the wind, for it carries the secrets of an empire vanished into the mists. Beneath the scorching southern sun, the air trembles with the weight of history. Here, sultans dreamed of eternal paradise, raising empires to touch the stars. But treason is a silent poison. Shadows toppled these dynasties from within. Legends tell of a weeping king who looked back one last time, surrendering his kingdom in sorrow. His tears dried upon the stone, leaving a curse of longing that haunts every traveler. Now, only the wind dares speak the names of the forgotten through the void. Two worlds collided here, and the earth drank the blood of knights until nothing remained but dust and glory. Ancient myth holds that this island was formed from the petrified bodies of giants vanquished by Hercules. Listen to the fierce northern winds, and you may hear the groans of buried titans struggling beneath the weight of the earth. It is a landscape defined by blinding light and the eternal struggle between unyielding stone and the relentless sea. Centuries ago, these winding pathways were crafted like a maze to entrap the ruthless pirates who sought to plunder. Secrets of forgotten lovers and fallen warriors lie trapped within the whitewashed walls, shielded from the present. Here, the spirit of antiquity defies the march of time with every crashing wave. Beneath the sun, this city breathes like an ancient giant, alive and restless. Roman legions laid the stones of Barcino here, upon soil soaked in ambition. The wind in the Gothic quarter still carries the hushed prayers of those fleeing the Inquisition. Legends tell of a dragon demanding sacrifice, until a knight's lance pierced its heart, blooming red roses from the blood. Here, stone refuses to be straight, twisting like living vines to defy the laws of gravity. Shadows guard the forgotten packs of kings who sought to rule the seas. A masterpiece painted not on canvas, but on the soul of Catalonia. Rising from the volcanic depths, this island is a jewel forged in fire and painted by the sun. Centuries ago, these shores trembled under the shadow of Saracen sails, bringing terror to the peaceful fishermen. Legend says, a heavenly guardian descended from the clouds to strike down the dreaded pirate Barbarossa with a sword of lightning. High above the waves, the ancient fortifications remain as silent witnesses to a history written in salt and blood. A dark palace once stood here, holding the heavy sighs of prisoners condemned to watch the freedom of the blue sea through cold iron bars. The wind still carries the secrets of the past, whispering tales of survival to anyone willing to listen. These peaks pierce the sky like the teeth of ancient giants. Legend says a prince wove moonlight into the rock to cure a moon princess of homesickness. Thus, the walls glow ghostly pale when darkness takes hold. Another tale speaks of King Loren, who cursed his rose garden to be invisible by day and night. But he forgot the twilight, so the stone burns blood red at dusk. Yet silence here carries the heavy weight of history. A century ago, soldiers tunneled through ice like moles to fight the merciless cold. Their spirits remain trapped within the crevasses. Now, only the wind sings the eternal song of stone. The deep blue veins of the earth stretch inland, carved by the colossal weight of retreating ice. Legends tell of frost giants warring against the gods, their mighty blows shattering the coastline into these towering cliffs. If you listen to the wind howling in the ravines, you can hear stone trolls groaning, trapped forever by the first light of dawn. Longships once sliced through this mist, bearing warriors who sought Valhalla and feared only a peaceful death in bed. Beneath the mirror surface lurks the Draug, a drowned spirit screaming before the storm to claim souls for the abyss. Here, time stands still, dwarfing our fleeting existence against the eternal silence of stone. Beneath the towering Alps rests water so deep it seems to touch the Earth's very core. Roman poets once built sanctuaries here to escape the empire's madness. Yet locals whisper of a prehistoric beast lurking in the abyss, watching with ancient, hungry eyes. The scent of cypress weaves through gardens that have outlived their creators by millennia. Nobles raised palaces only to meet tragic ends, swallowed by betrayal and political storms. On moonless nights, music drifts from empty ballrooms, played by invisible hands. Here, time circles endlessly, trapped between the sky and the cold embrace of the lake. This legendary capital hides a heart of darkness within its ancient stone. Before the towers rose, a tribe settled here, unaware empires would rise and fall upon their bones. Beneath the cobblestones, millions of silent souls sleep in tunnels, keeping secrets the living chose to forget. The wind carries echoes of revolutions, when streets ran red and kings bowed to the fury of the people. Every corner breathes the weight of centuries, a testament to the eternal dance between glory and ruin. They say at night, spirits of artists and conquerors walk these paths, searching for lost memories. Time stands still, preserving the grandeur of a civilization that refuses to fade into oblivion. Here stands the jagged edge of the old world, where the earth abruptly ends and the kingdom of the eternal ocean begins. Long before maps were drawn, Phoenician traders and fierce Moorish warriors believed these golden ramparts marked the final frontier before the abyss. They say the spirit of a weeping princess still haunts the hidden grottos, guarding a treasure that no mortal hand can touch without peril. It was from these windswept shores that brave souls sailed into the void, chasing the horizon while fearing the monsters lurking beneath the dark waves. The sheer scale of this coastline makes human ambition feel small and fleeting against the power of nature. Only the wind remembers the names of those who never returned. The City of 100 Spires stands as a Gothic monument to secrets that refuse to die. Long ago, a rabbi shaped a protector from river clay. The monster still sleeps in a sealed attic, waiting for the magic word to serve once more. Another legend speaks of a clockmaker blinded by jealous counselors, who stopped the gears of time with his dying hands in revenge. In narrow lanes, alchemists sought the philosopher's stone, trading their sanity for a glimpse of the eternal. It is said the devil himself hurled a pillar in rage, losing a wager for a priest's soul. History is not written in ink here, but carved into the very shadows. The Rhine Valley rises as a majestic monument to the march of time, where nature embraces history in eternal silence. Centuries ago, legends say a cursed golden treasure was sunk beneath these dark waters, guarded by spirits waiting for a king. Can you hear the faint song of the siren upon the heights, luring sailors to their doom with a melody as sweet as death? These ancient stones remember the clash of steel and the roar of battles that once shook the foundations of the earth. Ruthless robber barons once ruled here, stretching heavy iron chains across the current to trap merchants in a web of greed. On foggy nights, ghosts of fallen knights still patrol the void, searching for enemies that turned to dust 1,000 years ago. In the heart of the churning sea stands a fortress of stone, defying the fury of empires for millennia. Long ago, the Knights of St. John stood here, facing a tide of ships that darkened the horizon. They say the mortar of these walls was mixed with the blood of those who refused to yield to the void. Yet eons before, giants walked this land, raising megalithic temples long before the pyramids were even a dream. Listen to the wind, and you might hear the song of Calypso, who held the hero captive in her cave for 7 years. Here, time does not pass. It simply accumulates in layers of limestone and eternal legend. Rising from the endless blue of the Atlantic, these volcanic giants stand as eternal monuments to the raw power of nature. It is said that the demon Guayota once kidnapped the sun and hid it within the smoking crater, plunging the world into a terrifying shadow until the supreme god Achaman intervened. The spirits of the Guanche people still linger in the caves where they embalmed their dead, guarding secrets that history has failed to decipher. For hundreds of years, navigators chased the mirage of the Eighth Island, a ghost land that retreats into the sea whenever mortals try to set foot upon its shores. The landscape feels prehistoric, a realm where ancient dragon blood trees weep crimson tears, and the silence is heavier than the stone itself. Upon 7 hills rests a kingdom, forged by sunlight and the eternal longing of the vast sea. They say the wanderer Ulysses founded this sanctuary, seeking refuge from the wrath of vengeful gods. But the deep earth hides a dark memory of the day the ground shook and the ocean rose to devour the land. A profound silence honors the brave souls who set sail from here into the terrifying unknown. Legends speak of giant sea monsters and the edge of the world awaiting those who left these shores. Listen closely to the wind for the phantom prayers of sailors lost to the abyss. This is a realm where history breathes through stone, defying the cruel erasure of time. Water weaves an eternal tapestry here, creating a realm where reality blurs into a dream. When a terrible drought scorched this earth, the mysterious Black Queen descended from the peaks. She summoned thunder and wept heavy tears, transforming sorrow into the cascading torrents we hear today. Maps once marked this labyrinth as the Devil's Garden, a place where armies vanished and shadows danced. The falls roar with the secrets of those who sought refuge in these depths during the Great Wars. In this solitude, the wilderness remains unbroken, guarding its ancient magic against the fading memory of the world. The northern wind carries the salt of centuries and the scent of ancient stone. Knights have long sought to conquer this fortress, yet the stones remember darker guests. They say the devil himself held a wedding near the well, where walls still tremble from that accursed night. Olev raised a spire to challenge the heavens, but vanity demanded a blood price. As the final cross was placed, he fell from the dizzying height, sealing a pact with the cold earth. A bitter feud between nobles on the hill and merchants below once locked gates against their own kind. Time here is a spiral, trapped forever within these enduring fortifications. Here stands the eternal city, where every stone breathes the heavy weight of 1,000 empires. Centuries ago, the roar of the crowd drowned out the screams of gladiators fighting for glory upon the blood-soaked sands. Shadows cling to corners where emperors were betrayed, their dark secrets buried under layers of dust. The sheer scale of these ruins reminds us that even the mightiest civilizations eventually bow to the march of time. Legend tells of two brothers raised by a wolf, forging a destiny that would conquer the world with iron and fire. Listen to the wind, and you might hear the phantom footsteps of legions marching into the mist of oblivion. Rome remains a glorious theater, where the drama of history never truly ends. We have finally reached the end of this long journey through the mists of time. Countless armies once clashed here, their steel ringing in a symphony of war that has long since faded. If you listen to the wind, you might still hear the faint prayers of those who sought refuge behind these barriers. These ancient walls stand as silent sentinels, guarding secrets buried for hundreds of years. Legends say powerful kings and tragic queens walked these paths, weaving their destinies before vanishing into the void. Now, only the creeping ivy knows the true names of the heroes sleeping in the dust. Time devours all empires, leaving us with the breathtaking beauty of ruin and the enduring spirit of the past.